Hello everyone, welcome to this video lesson titled Ahimsa from the End of Imagination by Arundhati Roy. In this session, we'll explore how Arundhati Roy reinterprets Ahimsa or non-violence as a living and powerful moral force. Through her essay, she connects Ahimsa not only to Gandhian philosophy or Gandhian principles but also to modern struggles for justice, environment, and human dignity. Let's begin this video into the heart of her message, a message that asks us to imagine peace in times of violence. About the author, Arundhati Roy is one of the India's most courageous and well-known literary voices. As a novelist, essayist, and social activist, she gained international fame for her debut novel, The God of Small Things, which won the Booker Prize in the year 1997. However, beyond fictional writing, Roy is deeply committed to writing about social justice, displacement, and resistance. Her well known essays are The End of Imagination, War Talk, and Field Notes on Democracy. These essays combine strong emotion with deep moral questioning. Roy stands as a voice for those who are unheard, the displaced, the poor, and the marginalized. She reminds us that literature is not only about beauty and words, but also about truth, courage, and conscience. The context of the essay is that it was written in 1998, soon after India conducted its nuclear test. While the country celebrated the victory, what was called as a scientific triumph, Roy raised a powerful question. What kind of progress celebrates destruction while millions of people still suffer in poverty? Through this essay, she protested against a world that glorifies power and forgets humanity. Roy also connected this to another ongoing issue, the Narmada Bachao Adalan or Save Narmada movement. This protest opposed the construction of big dams that displaced thousands of poor people. By linking nuclear pride with developmental violence, Roy pointed out that both are forms of modern ahimsa, a modern violence. Thus, the essay is not only political but deeply human, a plea for compassion in a time of arrogance. And it is a form of himsa, that is modern violence. The meaning of ahimsa, as we all know, ahimsa means non-violence, the refusal to harm or injure any living being. In ancient Indian philosophy, it was a guiding principle of life, and Gandhi made it a tool for social and political change. But Arundhati Roy redefines ahimsa for the modern world. For her, ahimsa is not silence or weakness, it is active moral resistance, the power to confront injustice with truth, patience, and courage. She calls ahimsa as the most modern of all ideas because it requires greater strength to be peaceful in a violent world. In Roy's interpretation, ahimsa is not the end of struggle, it is the beginning of conscience. It is what keeps humanity alive in an age of destruction. Roy's essay becomes most moving when she describes the protesters of the Narmada Bachao Adalan. She names a few of them. They are Vinod Patwa, Mangat Varma, Chitarupa Phalat, and Ram Kunwar. These are ordinary people like farmers, villagers, and activists who chose fasting as their form of protest. They were not armed with weapons but with silence and endurance. Roy tells us what they fasted 2 days longer than Gandhi ever did. So, this act it shows that peaceful resistance was not of fame but for justice. Through their suffering, they exposed the inhumanity of a system, the political power that values progress over people. Their fasting became a moral force and as a reminder that true courage lies in sacrifice, not aggression. The tone of Arundhati Roy's essay is both empathetic and angry. It is a rare combination. She begins with sympathy for the protesters, admiring their courage and moral clarity. But as the essay unfolds, her tone changes to one of moral outrage against political hypocrisy and corruption. Arundhati Roy uses her words as a weapon of truth. She reminds the reader that real progress cannot be built on the suffering of the poor or the destruction of the nature. Her clear message is timeless that conscience is more powerful than power itself. She challenges us to rethink what development really means. Is it the growth of machines or growth of humanity? This extract highlights several key themes that continues to shape Arundhati Roy's work. The first one, non-violent resistance. This idea is that peace is stronger than violence. And the second one, displacement and injustice. It shows how modernism or modernization often displaces the poor and destroys their dignity. And the third one, environmental activism. It is a reminder that nature is not an object to exploit, but a life source protect. And finally, true democracy. It is shows a society that listens to its people and values equality over profit. Through these themes, Arundhati Roy connects the Gandhian legacy of Ahimsa with the present need for ethical governance and ecological balance. The important quotations from the text. For instance, there are two quotes from the essay where Arundhati Roy stand out and deserve our attention. The first one, they have fasted 2 days longer than Gandhi did on any of his fast. Here, Arundhati Roy honors the protesters' endurance and link their modern struggle to Gandhian moral heritage. The second one, it is demanding more modernity, not less, more democracy, not less. Through this line, she argues that ahimsa and democracy are not old fashioned ideas, they are true future of civilization. So these lines remind us that moral strength is a sign of progress, not backwardness. When we reflect on ahimsa today, it feels more relevant than ever. In a world filled with hatred, war, environmental destruction, crisis, Arundhati Roy's essay speaks directly to our conscience. It tells us that nonviolence is not the absence of action but presence of moral strength. It is the courage to stand firm without hatred, to speak truth without fear. Peaceful protest, empathy, and compassion become the highest forms of resistance. As Arundhati Roy writes, or her writing shows us, ahimsa is not merely a concept, it is a life going or living force that can change the world one act of conscience at a time. To conclude, Arundhati Roy's The End of Imagination is not just an essay or extract, it is a moral appeal to humanity. Through her words, we learn that true progress is not about wealth or weapons, but about justice, empathy, and balance with nature. Her vision of Ahimsa goes beyond politics, it becomes a way of living, a way of being human, as she truly believes and beautifully writes in resistance, there is renewal. Each act of peaceful defiance gives birth to hope. Let us, therefore, remember that non-violence is not weakness, it is strength with conscience, the highest form of human courage. Thank you for listening.